So welcome to the show, Andy. And
good night. Nice to
meet you.
Pleasure to be here. By the way, let me just say up front, just once I heard about this podcast, I was excited to come on as a guest because I like what you guys doing. You guys have been doing this unofficially for years, just great conversations about the game we love, and just having your viewpoint, but in a nice way, a real intellectual way. Because football topics, football is life, right? So it is really be discussing life at the end of the day. So
true.
To be in here and to be here with you guys.
Right. Right, beautiful. Good night, guys. Happy New Year to all those who may have come across this for the first time. This is the Trifactor podcast, episode 2, where we keeping the ball rolling as well, trying to discuss and touch on so many different things, and things are going on in the world of football in so many different ways that the dynamic keeps changing. We also have our first official guest here on the Trifactor podcast. We'll get to. But how you guys been? How was your week? Respective teams, affairs, anything anybody needs to get off the chest so we can schedule it? I know somebody might be a little upset that I don't know. Everybody good? Everybody alright?
Cool. I cool pretty well, bro.
I don't know. I don't know who vexed. I just asking, right? All right. So, guys, one thing that we need to do our results for this year, 2021, are being proper with my time management, right?
Okay.
So I gonna be time at
hold up 1 second. How you look like a shine up shilling tonight? So what's going on? Get a date or something?
He watched the first one and he was like, never again.
No. Watch me. I normally scruffy by default, right? But the thing is, right? I say, well, let me try a little thing for the new year. Come out fresh, clean and thing. Big up the stairs of our shop. I went down there, get myself sorted because, again, commitments that we making for this thing. Tonight, actually, is my girlfriend's birthday now. But obviously, with this, I can't do that now. So I have to go make sure, carry out last night.
You need to get your priorities in order. I said you need to get your priorities in order.
My priorities in order? What should I do? Invite you to the podcast? Alright. Gentlemen, all talk aside, we have a distinguished guest here. And he's a legend in many respects. And I think, given our agenda tonight, he's the perfect person to talk about it. His expertise is wide-ranging and diverse. And he also has some very, very strong opinions and viewpoints that would provoke the discussion. We have Mr. Andy Salandy with us. Multiple football awards, right? Locally, originated from Trinidad and Tobago. Two-time league winner, secondary school, intercol champion, intercol runner-up. 2 times runner-up, actually. Yes, you Hall of Famer, professional footballer.
Yes, I'm sure. 2 times runner-up. Where you get that from? Where you get it?
Times? No, wait, in truth. It couldn't be 2.
Yeah. If you're getting, actually, when you look in the real record books, you can see probably winning this high school football and the history.
Right.
83, 84, 85. Go back and do the research.
83, 84, 85, right?
85. Yeah.
Okay. So, you win 3 years straight. 3 years straight.
They give it to Mukarapu. You ever hear final? You don't draw the final. They get it to Mukarapu, right? 84, we win it out, right? And then 85, we lose 1-0 in the East final to Arima.
Well, right. I know about the Arima loss.
And Arima runners up, but 3 league titles. So,
3 league titles for sure.
I think it's winning this all-time record, but
Right. And the record breaking and stuff there. But, I mean, you're blessed the mic and things, so you know it better than I would because I was there. I must say definitely that I'll go on record as Andy Salandy is the best player I've ever played with. I'm not saying that because it's my uncle, but it's because it's the truth.
What's what they played me though?
And that's why I could say that with confidence.
Going on here.
I could say that with confidence.
I started to get confused what's going on here.
Yeah, don't you look
Something
at
I confused going on here. This man
Right.
is he's a sweet talker. He come out with his shiny haircut and thing.
Yes,
Sweet talking everybody.
you see. This is why, anyway.
Everybody's the best you ever see, and
No,
all
no,
is the
no, no,
greatest.
no. I don't use the
all
best
that.
just so. I don't use best just so. Right?
Alright.
Right, so gentlemen. Oh, Andy Salandy is also one of the recent additions in terms of as a commissioner for the Eastern Premier Soccer League, or the East. What's the exact title, Andy? Just confirm it for me.
Commissioner of the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast region.
Right, Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast region. So he's dealing with Maryland, DC, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I forgot about anything?
That's it. That's the territory.
All right, great. And also, too, during his time at ASU, he did biology, masters in pre-med, and some other. He's well-rounded. Minor
in chemistry, yeah.
in chemistry, right? So, especially given what we like to discuss tonight, given leagues, COVID, things like that, I can't think of anybody else that would be better qualified, better suited to give his perspective. So, welcome to you, show, Andy.
Send some money in the mail too to get him on here, so just
yeah. I'm calling some favors, because
check in email, so
yeah, it's on the way. But we good like that. It's too bad.
So
Right, so
go ahead
Go ahead,
and drive
Osei.
a little bit.
Yeah, you go ahead and drive. You go ahead and drive.
All
Think
right.
fight down.
Mr. Salandy, how you doing, sir?
doing great.
All right. All the best for the new year. Just a couple questions to get off started. What was the first memories you have of football? When did you start playing football?
Great question. So it had to be in the neighborhood. Grew up in I did make football to in Trinidad. That's it, in case you didn't know. That's Akrigo area.
He's a South man, so he go and fight you on that real bad.
The Mecca in the east then. You have the Mecca in the south. Eh?
Okay.
We can agree to that.
That's a strong point, man. You know them point men is.
Yeah. Well, the
You know
Mecca
them
in
point
the
men
east.
is. Right? They know them point men is.
But I grew up playing in the neighborhood, small goal, road, sweat, and then in primary school. My earliest memory of organized football is I played for Anglican school. Right, so I started in third standard. I was playing on the team, starting on the team, and in third standard. So that's what, like 8?
Yeah, about.
And then 8, 9, 4th standard, and then 5th standard.
Right.
And yeah, that was my earliest memory before we moved into the big football, as we call it in the art league. In primary school, I started.
Right. So, no, since we know when you started, when did you become self-aware, or were you good as a young age, or did you have to develop yourself to make your secondary school team?
Yeah, another good question. I want to believe I was pretty good at a young age because, to play for your primary school in third standard and, as we say, post-primary men who then
or
pass
post-primary
on this, they're on the squad. So,
18-year-old.
I was a little age playing.
That's 6 men, yeah. The men used to be 14 and thing,
So, but I honestly, we are from a culture, as you guys know, where we play all the time. So you ain't even thinking about how good you are. You just love it. Sweat everywhere. Savannah, small goal. School. You're playing in school more than you're really focusing with a little. It's a game that we love to play. So I was always just playing as a.
Okay. So what would you describe yourself? What type of player were you?
That's a good question too. So I started off playing forward.
Okay.
I started off loving to score and attack and dribble and flare the games.
Okay.
Yeah. As most of us.
We talked about the green machine, but I think out of respect for the background, but actually I see man before green machine. And,
okay.
He nicknamed the Dubman and QRC Spanner King. So I used to I was a forward.
Yeah.
But, along the way they start talking about midfield generals, right? When I was getting to the under 16 level, the coach who was trying, we would say, all right, defenders here, forwards here and my midfield generals over here. And I say, hold on. I was going to forward, but when he said that, I said, well, then I had to go over here. And I transformed myself to a midfielder from that day, no joke. Just because of the whole title.
Okay.
So the kind of player I was, though, truly, I hate to lose, so I would do anything on the field to try to win. I just hate losing. So I started evolving into a more complete player as a result. Because fellas, if you're playing and you hate to lose, like small goal, right? Everybody, your team losing, right? Because nobody wants to defend.
I'd never asked this question, by the way.
The man who really want to hate to lose go end up defending because he just don't want to lose because everybody
everything.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was a kind of complete player after I went into that midfield, but I was still learning the game. I would say I was still understanding how to midfield have so much dynamics to it. So I was starting to learn how to attack timing wise, how to defend and not try to attack every time and defend. You know what I mean? It's a balance. So
okay.
Kind of player I was. Because a player was studying the game while trying to win the game and figure it out. Because the game itself is like a chess match, as you guys probably know. So.
Yeah. Okay. So are they on to ask that question?
Yeah, I was asking him if he still holds a hate to lose attitude with his supporter Arsenal now. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I give up on supporter Arsenal. FC Cardinals.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
I'm my own club. So
yeah. He does with Arsenal and get your own club.
I defaulted the club that is winning instead of giving you a heart attack.
Oh.
Problem.
Yeah. When you can see how say he's an Arsenal fan. I blame that for his how he is. And I try to be sensitive to him as a result.
Aesthetically pleasing, but when it comes to losing, different story.
Yeah, I'll say you could probably take pattern. You should just start your own club, brother. That makes sense. Start over.
That's a good idea.
Start over.
Right, so cool. So when you joined the Green Machine, that was like the age of 11. What
No,
11?
QRC.
You was in QRC.
Oh, yeah,
I went QRC first,
right.
And then repeated in the Green Machine. I went 6-4.
Okay. So when did you start to break into the intercol side, though? At what age?
I was in 4th form in QRC. I felt like I've been on the team since 3rd form, but I had a different story. But in 4th form...
Next episode.
Yeah. In 4th form, I ended up on the team, so that was...
Yeah.
That remind me, about 15, around 15, 16.
15, about 15.
Yeah, 15, 16, and then on 5th form, 16, 17, and then I ended up going to St. Augustine. Yeah.
Okay. All the while playing in midfield. Never moved from midfield after that.
Now I play center. I play sweeper in St. Augustine and upper 6 because again they hate to lose. At that point, I was the senior guy. Defense wins championships. After I figured that one out, I couldn't.
You're watching from midfield and you're saying, cover the man.
Yeah. I started to realize if I go back, they problem. So I end up sweeping in my upper 6 year plenty. And so I started evolving into more of a defensive play. Remember, I started up front there.
Yeah.
And so going back to your quick little Arsenal question there. Defend to win. You can't out-attack, you can't over-attack and win. You had to defend to win. I would just say that.
Right.
So you ever thought about getting into management of teams, like as a coach?
Yeah, but I've been coaching for a long time, to be honest with you. I've been coaching for over 25 years now on a youth level. And then I was recently in Trinidad in the coaching staff for the women's senior team and under 20. I was part of that staff in the World Cup qualifiers. We went 3-1-1. And so, I've been coaching for a long time. And in terms of...
I ain't hear that in the credentials, Mr. Zwade.
We couldn't give him everything. When you are the man coming here to talk about if I talk everything.
I also coach my son's U16 FC Cardinals boys team, who finished runners-up in the national championship game in Colorado 2 years ago. So one of the winningest teams in North Carolina history, the 2002 FC Cardinals boys. You Google them, you'll see what I say. We were very, very dominant from day one, from U10 to U16, and they've kind of aged out now because they're playing from a semi-pro team that we have in the city now.
So, I mean, so after you play, so I mean, you play intercal, then you got a scholarship to come up in the States, right?
Correct.
And then, so after you play in the States, so did you always know you wanted to stay in football professionally?
Yeah, good question. So I went into my career, which was a biology professor at a community college. First was an environmental engineer, local, we call them the state EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, for 5 years. And then I went and started teaching at a community college to actually get the freedom to coach for the flexibility of teaching at the community college there, evening times and weekends. So I started coaching youth soccer then. And so, yeah, I think my love for this game kept me connected to it, but I did play in a lot of adult leagues after my 2 years of pro. After college, I was working, I played 2 years of pro. This is an interesting story. Just here's my pro career.
Right.
So there's a team called Chattanooga Express in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They are they are NISA team now, a professional team. They have a nice stadium. I tell my friends all the time, we gotta send them for some royalties because we cannot build that city. Myself and another Trinidadian fellow, who was at UT Knoxville doing his PhD. He called me and he said the coach looking for a centre back. I said, man, I'm a midfielder, boy. He said, yeah, but you can play the back. So I drove 7 hours to the tryout.
Oh, Lord.
Coach, the coach name was Pedro Kosak. He used to coach the Canadian national and 17 team, and he was hired by Chattanooga, a high-power coach from Argentina. So I drove 7 hours. I put my wife and my 2 kids in the car and drove. Because my, honestly, guys, growing up, was to become a professional soccer player.
Right.
Opportunity. I must say footballer, talking to some footballers.
Yeah. I wondered when that
professional football player. So,
right.
Done 7 hours. Pedro looked at that kind of commitment that I showed to come to tryout. He said, is this the guy who came to tryout? And I came to me, he said, are you the guy? I said, yeah. So he tried Jersey to me and said, I'm going to start you today because I want to see you completely. So
you start one time?
I did mean a 3-5-2. Now, I'd never played in a 3-5-2 formation.
So you look like David Luiz then?
Yeah, well, no, but he played the 3-5-2. Look, the 3-5-2 was emerged into what it is now. What he played was 1 sweeper and 2 man markers.
Man markers, of course, yeah.
The striker wherever they go. You are assigned to the striker. Wherever you go, follow him. For me, I had a disciplined marking game, so that was really easy for me. And in the back was also really easy for me because once I win possession, I'm very confident on the ball from being in the middle of my career. So played the game. After the game, came to me and he said, wow, you know what? I played the whole game. He made subs. I said, well, I must be doing good because I ain't get sub out.
Right.
He said, all right, we have to sign you. I said, okay. Now I'm working as an environmental engineer, making a decent living out of college. I'm taking care of my family. I started to get a little excited, guys. Look, my pro career, I'm going to sign you. I said, okay, coach, so what you talking about? He said, I think we can pay like $150 a week, $150. Yeah? What? I said, I ain't gonna work. So he said, what do you mean? I said, nah, coach, I have a family. Because it's now starting. This was professional soccer. And, you are everything taken care of and the extra money. They'll pay for room meals, you know what I mean? So I said, nah. So he said, well, let me talk to the owner. The owner was a Greek, Pedro Argentinian, English in the best. He go and he talk to the owner and he come back and he said, okay, yeah, we'll sign you. This man understand English. I said, nah, he said, no, listen, we have a solution. I said, what? He said, we'll fly you into Atlanta on weekends, pick you up, you play. No joke.
Wow.
So they paid for a round trip ticket for me to fly from Charlotte to Atlanta, pick me up, played every game, fly me back. I didn't realize, fellas, I might be a little abnormal because that budget was obviously very overhead to fly me that ticket.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I played for Chattanooga while living in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Let's say you have another question because I'm what to ask you now.
Go ahead, Andrew.
All right, so going from playing to coaching, did you have to do any did you do any training on coaching, get badges or something like that?
Yeah, so I started off just coaching, and I'm glad you asked that question, guys. I believe you'll always coach based on your perspective and how you play. It's just how it is. And when I started coaching, I was just going and trying to do things based on how I feel the game should be played, with no background, no context, no organizational skills to coaching, right? Because when you go to a coaching education course, they have a real structure, your introduction, your warm-up, your first activity, the second activity, there's a real progressive kind of systematic with a layout. But should be told, when you are a coach with no kind of coaching and structure, you will just do things what you think important. And I try to let the game dictate what I got to work on when I see how we play. In this, let's go do this. But I did go into my coaching credentials and get a national license, a national C license. But here's the thing, I'll be honest with you. The coaching credentials start confusing my coaching that I was doing without knowing the structural aspect of it. It became more of a theoretical session instead of a real session, in my opinion. And I went back to what I was already doing before I get the credentials, because I think it works, because there is no script to this thing. And this cookie cutter, you go and you learn this and then we got to do. And to me, results dictate what makes sense. If you're doing all this stuff with your fancy credential and losing right through, what are you doing? No, I'm serious. And maybe
no, you're right.
So, we agree.
And I look at some of these high power coaches and the credential. You watching the game and you probably say, but why didn't make this adjustment? But these guys who are their badges, they should know that what's going on. I mean, the game is a practical game, not theoretical. So the credentials to me is good to show that you qualify on knowledge, but they don't really drive my coaching. I cannot coach on certain philosophies of a winning, which it's all based on defending principles and transitioning to attack and defend, but you have to defend. Think about it. So football is a game. If you don't get scored, you can never lose. You
That's something like Mourinho, boy.
No. Mourinho was not Spanner King. You see, in the final third, I like to go at people, right? Freedom to go. But you don't go at the expense. Think you are saying. We culture, everybody want to go in, nobody want to defend. So you have to balance going and staying. That's all I'm saying.
A stable base, and you can go from there.
Yeah. That's we will get into that. Let's ask some good questions. I might deviate into Trinidad football, and we go.
That's a whole.
That's an next
like
episode.
A podcast series, right?
Yeah, that's an episode by itself, and definitely we looking forward to getting your perspectives on that, because one question I had, and I mean we don't have to go totally in depth into it now, but in terms of the transition in the footballing environment from Trinidad to the States, what was the biggest shift you had to make?
You can't be Spanner King, that is it.
And that was a weapon, boy. I became a legend in Boone because
I've never seen Spanner before.
Men would say, what was that? And nobody want to even tackle it. The fear of this Spanner. That's a weapon. That's a serious weapon. But, the transition I came was the professionalism. Immediately you see a difference in, let's say 8 o'clock, you better be there by 7:45. It ain't no late, it ain't no excuse, it was a full professional adjustment now. I find the Green Machine was at a high level. That team I played was probably one of the best teams I've ever played on, and we have some semblance of professionalism in our high school. But it was just a whole different step up in terms of everything was top class, training room, facilities. You're getting your meals taken care of. It was just that adjustment for me on that level. The game-wise was no adjustment. The game was easy to me because we were technically much better than a lot of players. I think we have a real good foundation in technical skill home, and once you have a strong technical foundation, you can play and adapt. I was also a hard worker home, so the fitness for some people could have been a shock treatment. But because I hate to lose, I want to win every fitness drill, and I didn't just sit back and say, it's too hard. So I would say just the overall, how you carry yourself and deal with the time and the professional attention to detail that they had. I had to adjust to that, but it was a quick adjustment because I took the game serious. I always respect the game.
All right. And given the respect for the game, we just keeping the ball rolling here, but we switching the play a little bit. In terms of the league that you're involved in, the Eastern Premier Soccer League, tell us about what's the vision for that place. What makes it unique, and how would your perspective, not just as a player but as a coach in your own right, and your experience, what you see as the niche that the league will really target?
Yeah, excited about this league because it finally is a league that I'm involved in that is going to create an open system and opportunities for players. The US soccer system, from the MLS, the big boys down, is a closed system. I mean by that? There's no promotion relegation. You're in.
Yeah, no promotion relegation.
And you control the game. You lose, you still win. It have no, so it's closed. It's not open. Whereas the league that you're acting with Arsenal, and I'm sure some of you are Chelsea, Man U, wherever you're.
If I'm not Chelsea fans here, you have Arsenal, you have a retired Inter fan, and well, you know me.
Well, you know the EPL tried, the big boys tried to make it a non-relegation league, but I think the rest of the clubs rejected it.
Yeah, well, that's a terrible idea. They tried that last year. They were giving them.
This year, last year.
It couldn't be only this year, we see. It was last year, right? Maybe about September, they were saying, well, with the COVID, we could give some additional funding to the lower leagues, but we giving the big 6, big 8 more voting rights and a bigger say. And I was like, that's a totally crazy idea, because then they will always have that stratification, and I was totally against it. So, I mean, I know Balancing League is a business at the same time, but you should still have some governing principles. And from what I saw, well, describe your league in context of what you're saying.
So the EPSL is modeling the European model, the global model of an open system. So you have a local league, which we'll call the feeder league. And in that local league, you'll have a first division, second division. So you get promoted into the local league, into your first division. Now you win your first division, you'll get promoted into the EPSL that sits on top of the local feeder leagues. Then EPSL now, once you win the EPSL, is connected to another professional league called NISA. And NISA is an emerging professional league, not a very big league yet in terms of number of teams, but it has the historic New York Cosmos and some of those iconic teams. The same Chattanooga I just talked about is in here, Detroit. So the EPSL literally have an opportunity for you to go from a local league into the EPSL, a bridge called NISA Nation, which is like an incubator to get you ready for pro, because the jump from amateur to pro, we talked about it just now, it is a business, you have that front office, you have that facility, you have to know what you're doing. A good friend of mine told me the quickest way to go from a billionaire to a millionaire is own a football team. You know what I mean?
Men doing it out of style, like if it's going out of style in England, though.
Yeah, because the billionaires who have so much billions, they could play with it on the,
on the hobby.
It's a risky business if you don't know what you're doing. So that whole notion of going from EPSL to NISA Nation to NISA is a great vertical integration matriculation from So what I like about our league is unique. No other semi-professional, amateur, adult, semi-professional league in the US structured like this. It's not open like this, where you have the club, the player could get exposed and move up, but the club could also do the same thing. So it's like the excitement of a club going from, like in England again, imagine some of the clubs that got up there and is staying there. That is an amazing thing. And the player themselves will get exposed because at the top of the league is a league that players could go into. And they have an independent cup called NISA Independent Cup, where we will rub shoulders. The EPSL clubs will play these professional clubs in the independent cup so that they get in the exposure. The clubs getting seen by the NISA. So it's almost like an audition for NISA to see if your club ready for their level and the player they're ready for professional. So it's a real nice open system. I'm excited about being a part of it and creating opportunities. Because my whole thing is the system should allow you to have a real chance.
Right. Okay. So now we slightly shifting the play again. So in terms of all that you described, in terms of giving a real chance and to everyone as equitable as possible within the context, because I mean it's not necessarily for profit in the league. How do you see the current pandemic situation impacting the league? Do you foresee anything?
Yeah, pandemic impacting the world, guys. So I definitely foresee. One thing is it's amazing to me how some folks are planning as though it do exist and it's just going to disappear wherever the plan is going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm taking that approach because I realize that it really is a serious issue, regardless of why it's here or what caused it. It's taking life. So safety first. Yes, football important as stress reliever, it's entertainment, it's a lot of things for the fans and players love to play it. But I, as a biologist, I used to tell students this, who's stressing about grades. What is the sense you end up with a 4.0 in here because grades is all that matters to you, but you're dying from a terminal disease because you didn't take care of your health. What are you going to do with that 4.0? You know what I'm saying? So it's the same, not taking everything. You're playing, yes, but not at the expense of end up dying because the game so in our life more important than anything else. So for me, we're planning the launch of the spring season in Mid-Atlantic mid-March. But with that plan comes contingencies to create some sort of bubble system, tournament system, friendlies, and not force a league play if it's not there. If the numbers just don't make sense, we got to make adjustments. More importantly, in this level of play, you have to rent facilities. So if the facilities aren't available, you could want to play all day long, where are you going to play? So there's a lot of logistics that has to be looked at and smart decisions. So what I'm looking at as contingencies is having, again, certain stadiums that we can consider if you want a bubble where we can have events and try to plan some dates around. And also it must not be in hotspots. It has to be in areas where the numbers not critical. People feel free to come in and play and create a rotational system. So we're planning for the launch in the Mid-Atlantic, but tempering the enthusiasm with some careful planning and safety first kind of protocols.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right, yeah.
I mean, so you went to COVID, but there was one more question I wanted to ask Andy there, which was about so is the vision for the EPSL that it will be like a pipeline to eventually get people to pro? That's the idea? Yes.
That's the idea. It's a feeder system. The feeder leagues get people, players, and get clubs to become professional clubs. It gives them the opportunity to matriculate up the ladder from a community league. If you win, you're into EPSL. If you win, you go on to NISA, and then you start dealing with the logistics to become a fully professional club. Because believe it or not, I talked to ownership group today, and they have a medical healthcare facility. One of the actual medical doctor who came from England in the Baltimore area, and they're excited about not their players playing pro, but their club becoming a pro club. So it's a real thing for a lot of owners who had a dream of owning a pro team, as much as players who dream of having a pro contract. So the league creates that excitement for both parties to push themselves to be better, which I think is a real exciting thing, because you may imagine having your own pro club and creating those opportunities as a result.
Right.
Yeah, so.
But this is so do you see any potential for like connection to the MLS too?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yeah. It will be nice, but
the mandates and the vision kind of might be different.
Based on what I know, right? NISA, who is the top professional league tied to us, were once clubs that were in what was called the NASL. And NASL were both running for sanctioning to be Division 2 under MLS. It was given to USL, and NASL kind of got thrown out there. So happening because I don't think NISA and MLS collaborates in any way.
But for players, can you see it potentially being where, like the scouting network would look in this pro league and potentially get there?
Yeah. That's something I would love. That's, again, like I say, from a player exposure an opportunity standpoint, that's what I'm about. As a matter of fact, I was on a Andre Batiste show about a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
One interviewed me about my appointment, and he literally asked a lot of questions about does it have any impact back to Trinidad and football. And yeah, for me as the commissioner of the EPSL, whatever I could do to create some bridges and connections to the local game and players coming out into this league and being exposed. I see all league as a combo league for players to get opportunity to go to college and pro. So I'm going to literally push that narrative to create combo combines, I'm calling them, where when you come, the college coaches are there, the pro coaches are there, and the players have real options to that contract will say I'm going to take a Division 1 scholarship instead and kind of have my foundation in case football and work out, but create that kind of opportunities through, and then again bringing our players from Trinidad and the Caribbean into the league, or in communities where it can be seen. That would be something I'd love to work on.
So Andy, what would you say is something that would be fundamental to local players being prepared for opportunities like that? Because scouting is especially heavily data driven now. This is something that we've noticed, where people looking
players at from a preparation standpoint, Akeem needs to start to take a fitness first. Now, a fitness first mentality.
That's KFC thing down here.
Yeah, like KFC Banton there, watch him.
Yeah, we like football, and if we want to come here and compete,
right,
put on the KFC and start understanding.
So what you're saying, right, is before developing, well, not before, but most important is our fitness skill, our fitness base, more than our skill base.
But we are the skill. That's what we focus on, is the skill base.
Okay.
But they can't breathe, they can't play. Nobody probably ever said that before, but trust that. They can't breathe, they can't play. So when you got all the skill in the world, they can't run from here to there, you can't use your skill, you can't use anything.
I definitely even noticed that.
What's that?
I definitely even noticed that in playing, so just playing pickup games and all kind of thing in America over the years, it's very clear that at least in American conception, everybody that playing football, they start off with they know how to run. They could run, and they could keep running. So that no matter how much, so I will play with men who obviously cannot play, but no matter how good I am, they fitter than me. So they could run me down. I could beat a man, I drag him, throw him down, he still come back and catch me and hit me a skate tackle from behind. So yeah, for sure, I could see that.
Right. So you talking for you appeared too on a scholarship? You came up with a scholarship?
Well, no, I was all academics, but
okay.
The whole time I was playing football.
Right.
The most I was part of a club, but I wouldn't even call that a semi-pro club, But I was just playing pickup all this time and stuff like that. And it's very clear.
Right. And then after that, Akeem, I think we need to create some mechanisms of virtual situations to really have the players be seen with these COVID times, where I think the whole scouting platform is going to change into a digital platform. That's what's coming. So you might start preparing for that now and start waiting. Just like, look, this would have been nice to sit down in a room and do a video conference, but this is just as good, right? So we gotta learn that the future is going to be digital, it's going to be online. And if we can put some proper mechanisms in place for these players to be seen, that is something as well that I would definitely look to try to work on and suggest with anyone that want to collaborate back home in terms of getting us to see the players, our streaming platform and things that what they're doing, just getting them visible, the college league, the club league, whatever, so that the players can actually be identified. I remember watching the Jamaican high school championship and sent it to me, and it's completely online. You could see the game, and I'm thinking to do the same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They started it actually locally with Sportsmax, where it used to compete with the Jamaican League primarily, and
Sportsmax owned by Jamaica, so they will let their league prioritize. So
yeah,
Sportsmax.
But we would
And you
have
see, the
to
thing is, they focus
invest in
on
our
certain schools too, and certain schools
we
because
would have to invest in our league if we want to make our league better.
That's
well,
right. That's right. That's right. We need
But
to.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we understand the benefits. Even if we want to talk about ROI, just the exposure, knowing a player comes from Trinidad or scouts coming because somebody performing good or scouts come because they see in the online stuff. I think they have tremendous ROI in the long term though.
well, there's a commitment to see it
Yeah.
through for that long term. That's what's key.